A boxer getting up in the years is given a chance at a comeback fight. He's the underdog, but by golly, his neighborhood is rooting for him. Will he have the eye of the tiger? Will he gonna fly now? You know the story, but this isn't Rocky. It's the Twilight Zone. This story about dreaming big was written by Rod Serling and directed by Ron Winston. As always, the alternative theories mentioned within may cause anxiety, rage, and disbelief. But that's why you're here, I hope. Kindly consider leaving a like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, make a wish on a fallen star, the big tall wish. Bolie Jackson is a washed-up, over-the-hill relic of a boxer. However, he has something others much younger than he doesn't have. Another chance at greatness. Bolie has a comeback fight. He's made the headlines. He's got the support of his neighborhood. But his secret weapon is a little boy named Henry. While Bolie has one hand tangled in his own misery, Henry has his head in the clouds. Henry idolizes Bolie and worships him, thinking he can do no wrong. Henry makes the biggest, tallest wish for Bolie. But the world of boxing is surprisingly not an honorable one. Minutes before his bout, Bolie learns his manager had bet against him. In a fit of rage, throws a punch that lands against the wall, badly injuring his hand. The fight goes on, however. Bolie, whose speed and strength long escaped him, was now without his right hook. Like a helpless punching bag, he ends up on his back, broken and defeated. Watching the unfortunate events live on television, Henry makes a prayer, a very big, a very tall wish. Like magic, Bolie becomes the victor, towering over his opponent. Bolie isn't sure what happened. His memory taunts him, convinced he had hurt his hand, but strangely feels fine. Bolie's coach doesn't recall seeing him knocked down, or remember telling him he had broke his hand. For Bolie, he's left to enjoy the accolades. He returns home and shares his thoughts and clouded memories with Henry. Henry confesses he made his tall wish to take away the hurt, to take away his pain, and pleads with Bolie to believe. But Bolie doesn't want to believe in magic, and he doesn't want Henry to believe in it either. Bolie's suffering is the only truth he knows. He rejects, refutes, and renounces Henry's magic. Henry begs, but the tired, broken boxer says it's too late, and he's too old to believe in magic. Bolie Jackson returns to his prior reality, physically beaten and left flat on the canvas. He's lost his bout and returns to his neighborhood a mere shadow of a man. Reuniting with Henry, the little boy resigns to never make any more wishes, because this one didn't come true. Bolie ponders sadly that maybe there is magic in the world, but just not enough people to believe. What is reality? What is truth? The answer lies in our hearts, our perspective. We each have our ideas of what makes up the fabric of our world, the ground rules we must live in. It may not be pleasant or kind. Bolie Jackson makes several expositions of what he feels the world is made of. It is hard as concrete and just as cold. Henry, on the other hand, wishes up new realities, new truths. They are just as real, especially when they pay the rent. The episode is remembered most for its theme about the childhood innocence of dreaming big that is unfortunately lost when we reach adulthood. What does that really mean? It's the difference between seeing a world from a child's eyes of what things can be, and seeing the world as it is, like an adult would. It's two different perspectives of life, or two different realities. Bolie and Henry are examples of how the world is experienced differently. Bolie speaks to his image in the mirror to reflect on the past. Henry does not look at Bolie's reflection. He chooses not to look into the mirror. Henry is looking into the future. Henry is a supernatural character whose magic is more than wishing up things for the present. He changes our past and spawns a new, alternate timeline. Frances spins a tale about how she needed $15 and a check arrived in the mail. Frances's patient would have to write her check days earlier for it to arrive in time before the rent is due, though that timing is ambiguous. What was not ambiguous was Henry's wish that came after Bolie hurt his right hand. Henry did more than change the outcome of the fight, but rewrote events that happened prior, giving Bolie an uninjured hand and giving everyone but him memories of his victory. In another example highlighting how Henry looks at the world, Henry made his wish in his reflection coming off the television. He's changing the past, present, and the timeline of the future. Now it's time for some alternative theories. It is mentioned more than once how Henry is acting older than he appears. To him, Bolie is a dear old friend. Henry confesses he's getting too old for making tall wishes. Could it be, for an 8-year-old, he's getting too old because he's lived across many timelines? Did Henry snap his fingers just because he had an idea? Or did he look into the future and experienced it? Fortune-telling is hinted at, coincidentally. You'll see a palm reader sign outside, right before you'll see another curious one. What is truth? The episode hints at questioning the world we live in, even its future. If only we have enough faith. I posit there were 3 timelines we watched in The Big Tall Wish. The first is the original one where Bolie hurts his hand and loses the fight. The second is the wished-for reality, where Bolie is the winner and congratulated by the neighborhood, but has lingering memories of the prior timeline. But why does he remember? No other person in the arena or who had watched the fight on television have any memory of an alternate result. So, why does Bolie? Bolie's steadfast skepticism spilled over into the new timeline. This may even have surprised Henry. This leads us to the third reality, one where Bolie loses but has zero memory that he had won. No memory of his rooftop conversation with Henry. Henry doesn't remember it either. What Henry goes to bed with is the idea that he had made a wish that didn't come true. How does this happen? Maybe, just maybe, this is the reality that Bolie made, sort of a dark or anti-wish. A longing to be brought down to the cruel world where there is no luck and no mercy. One where the only wish of Bolie's that came to fruition was convincing a young boy that it's time to stop dreaming big. Something Henry sadly complies. What did Henry wish for anyway? Did he wish to change the outcome of the fight? That would be the presumed theory. However, what if all he did was wish Henry's pain away? It's unclear if the argument between Bolie and his bent agent occurred in the new timeline. Perhaps Bolie threw the punch that hit the wall. It is understood that his coach, Joe, never mentioned a broken hand. Joe even drops a not-so-subtle hint when the episode is viewed a second time.
We must have been in different arenas together. You didn't get knocked down, Bolie.
This would mean Bolie won the fight through his own skills. More heartbreaking, he would have won without Henry's help if his fist never kissed the wall. The Big Tall Wish always had a special place with me. It boils down to the rooftop discussion between Bolie, the jaded adult, and Henry, an innocent child, who gave the boxer a great gift. Bolie only needed to believe just this once. It's a gut-wrenching scene because Bolie is so lost he wouldn't entertain an innocent child, even if it's just out of his own amusement. Instead, he demanded to live in the cold, brutal world he so condemned. The episode was so convincing, immersing us between wishes and reality, that the subject of fairness isn't considered. In many ways, The Big Tall Wish is a retelling of another very similar episode, Perchance to Dream. Each has a character who, when concentrating enough, can change reality. Each has a segment portraying someone living in an alternative universe that seems too real and even overcomes health issues. Both episodes return to a more grounded universe and not necessarily for the better. Now, I've taken a few arrows for my overall rating of Perchance to Dream. Perhaps rightfully so. In my defense, The Big Tall Wish is what Perchance to Dream should have been. Big Tall Wish has an empathic, yet flawed character, who is posed with a relatable dilemma. Why not question reality and embrace a dream? I give The Big Tall Wish 3 dimensions out of 5. It does have a couple tropes. Tag them alternate reality and supernatural character. This is Mr. G of Synergy, leaving you with these final words. Don't judge a wish by the size of its maker when you're in the Twilight Zone. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.